All right, we're moving on to question number 2. So if you need help with question number 2, I hope you selected this video. So question number 2 on module 4, topic 1, review. It says write an equivalent numeric expression using prime factorization. So once again, let's break down what we're looking for. So we need to write. Write is right. Equivalent. So write something equal to numeric expression, numbers and operations, using prime factorization. So factors that are prime numbers. So write something equal to numbers and operations using factors that are prime numbers. Well, let's look at the first one we have, and I might be scrolling down just so I have a space to solve. First, we have 28. The quantity of 28 plus 18 divided by 14. Well, looking at these numbers, none of them are primes. So we're going to have to change every single one of them. So we have 28, 18, 14. Now, how prime factorization works is we need factors of prime numbers. So one of the things that may hinder you from doing this is you don't know what a prime number is. There are exactly 25 prime numbers between 0 and 100. So I would suggest just look up a video on it. It's a pretty good one. There are a couple of ones on YouTube that have songs. So if you don't know the prime numbers between 1 and 100, just watch the video. Matter of fact, I'll put a link in your support folder. So we have 28. There are a couple of different ways we can get 28. Now, factor is you need two numbers that you're going to multiply with that equals this. Well, there's a couple of different ways. You could do 2 times 14 and 4 times 7. You are not allowed to use 1. So we can use either one of these, but we can't use 1. So I'm going to use 4 times 7. That may be the one you know the most. Now, looking at these two numbers, 7 is prime, so I don't have to do anything else with that. But 4 is not. So I got to break 4 down further. 4 is 2 times 2. All right, now I'm done with 4. 18 is next. So 18, I can use 2 times 9. And I can use 3 times 6. And of course, you have 1 times 18, but we're not allowed to use 1. So we got to use one of these two. I'm going to use the 2 times 9 because that's most likely the one you know best. We're going to use 2 because 2 is prime, but 9 is not. So let's break that down. So 9, that's 3 times 3. 3 is prime, so we are done with our second number. Now, looking at 14. 14, I can use 2 times 7 and 1 times 14, and I can't use 1. So there's only 2 that I can use for this one, and that's it. So that's 2 and 7. So now I have prime factors for each and every one of these. So let's go back up so we can see. So the prime factors of 28 were being added to the prime factors of 18. So parentheses, if I have a repeating number, I'm going to write an exponent. So this is 2. You write the smallest prime factor first. I had 2 of these, so that's exponent 2 times 7. So that's my 28 plus 18. So that's 2 times 3 squared. So got that part, divided by 2 times 7. So that is our answer. Now, the thing about it is, this is not how you're going to type it into Schoology. For Schoology, this is what you're going to do. First, shift 9, then 2, shift 6, then 2, then shift 8 for multiplication, 7. I'm going to put a space between mine. Shift plus or shift equal, because it's above the equal sign, space 2, shift 8, 3, shift 6, 2, shift 0, slash, shift 9, 2, shift 8, 7, shift 0. So that's what your answer choice should look like when you type it into Schoology. I actually put more spaces because I put spaces between these operations. But if you don't do that, that is fine. I have to grade these myself. So that is A. Now let's look at B. B gives us 16 plus 30 times 45. Looking at these numbers, none of them are prime, so we're going to have to change all of them. So going down here, ooh, I'm running out of space. 16, 30, 45. All right, let's look at 16. To get 16, I can do 2 times 8, 4 times 4. Honestly, it really doesn't matter which one of these I do. Both of these should be common knowledge. So I'll just use the 2 times 8. We already know 2 is prime, but 8 is not. So that's 2 times 4. Once again, 2 is, but 4 is not. So we got to break this one down a little bit further. That's 2 and 2. So that one has 4 prime factors. Now let's look at 30. 30, you have 2 times 15 and 5 times 6. I like 5s, so I'm going to use 5 times 6. 6 is not prime, but 5 is. So this gives us 2 and 3. And those are my prime factors for 30. Now let's get 45. 45, I can use 3 times 15 and 5 times 9. Once again, I already told you I like 5s, so we'll be using 5 and 9. 5 is prime, 9 is not, so that gives me 3 and 3. And I already know 3s are, and I already know that 3 is prime. So I'm done with 45 also. Now, because the 30 and the 45 were being multiplied together, I can combine their prime factorization since all of this is being multiplied. Not the case with this one, because 16 was just being added to these two. So that would give me 2, and I have 4 of them, plus 2, I only have 1, 2, times 3, and I have 1, 2, 3 of those, times 5, and I have 2 of those. So that's what I would get for B. Now, for Schoology purposes, once again, there's a way to type this into Schoology. So for Schoology purposes, you're going to do 2 shift 6 4 shift equal 2 shift 8 3 shift 6 3 shift 8 5 shift 6 2. The only reason you're doing this is because because of the type of question I used, you can't type in exponents or put in exponents how they should be. So you have to use the caret. The reason we're using shift 8 is because you no longer can use x to represent multiplication since it now represents a variable. All right, so that is everything you need to know for number 2. Next, we'll be continuing on to number 3.